I love this quote because it can be taken a myriad of ways. One of them is, what's up, crew excellence? Welcome back to the Ladder Podcast. It is Justin Strickland, the host of the Ladder. And I got a fun episode for you today. I was watching a podcast and a guy quoted Einstein. And the dude was like, bro, Einstein is super quotable. And I was like, man, he really is. And so I'm going to do an episode today about 5 quotes from Einstein, some leadership principles we can get from him. And I think it's super dope and super fun just to kind of look back on Einstein, some of the things he said and how they can still apply for us today. But before I get into that, let me do some housekeeping. You are here at the Ladder Podcast. This is a podcast determined and dedicated to build you up as a leader. We believe that every single person is a leader in some capacity with some role and responsibility for leadership. And so we feel like it's our goal and our dream to create excellent leaders in every area of life around the world. And so, it's because we believe when you are an excellent leader, the world is a better place. And I'm so glad you joined us today, and I hope this episode helps you in that journey. And so let's jump up into these Einstein quotables. And if you've never looked at like a list of Einstein quotes, they are amazing. He spent a lot of time talking and thinking. And so the first quote from Albert Einstein that we'll talk about today: learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. The important thing is to not stop questioning. I love this quote because Einstein was a physicist. He dealt a lot with like quantum physics and theory. And one of the things, but he had a very in-depth understanding of life because he dealt with all these kind of, I would say, high view theories of how the world worked and things. He was surprisingly humble and grounded. And this quote reminds us as leaders is we got to look back at what has happened and we have to learn from that. Mistakes, successes, whatever. But we have to be engaged in what we're doing today, right? We have to be focused. We have to be able to see who's in front of us, what's in front of us, and engage in that today. And we have to do that in a way that is optimistic about the future, right? So we have to learn from the past. We have to lead and engage in today in a way that is hopeful for the future. And I love the last part is like, don't stop questioning. As leaders, it is our job to continually question our processes, to continually question our perspective, to continually question the things that we think are true, because the moment they're not, we need to know. The moment that something has shifted, the moment that change is happening, leaders need to know and we need to act on new information. And so I love this quote. I think it's something that leaders can use and is helpful for all of us as we try to be the best leaders we can be. Second quote: a person who never made a mistake never tried anything new. I love this quote, especially for leaders, because a lot of times leaders do what they're comfortable with because they're comfortable with it, because they know the results, because they know that it'll work in a sense. And so they just do that. But the great leaders are the ones that have failed and failed and failed and failed and found something new. Like, those are the leaders that we write books about. Those are the leaders that we have lists of quotes about. Like, the leaders who are constantly pushing past their limitations and constantly trying new things and being curious about new processes or an attempt to get different outcomes and new and improved results. Those are the leaders that we learn about. Those are leaders that we strive to be. There is a time and place for maintenance, right? That's what managers are for. Leaders are for pushing boundaries and failing so that we can find the best way to be successful, okay? The third quote: strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value. I love this quote because as leaders, we can get so tied to and so like invested in the bottom line, the black and white. Is it successful? Does this work? And I think there is some credence to that, but I think the leaders that ultimately hold our attention and that we strive to be, that we should want to be, are leaders who are valuable. And that means they hold weight in culture. They hold weight in their legacy. And it's not just about them being successful, but it's about them having lasting value for generations to come. And that's what kind of leaders we should strive to be. And that doesn't necessarily mean you got to be this super famous historic. You could be somebody's grandma, right? Who led a life of leadership, and 2, 3, 4 generations down, your name is still being heard around the family because of how you lived and because of how you led, right? You can be someone's uncle, and people, when they give their thank you speeches, because they're amazing, they say, I just want to give a shout out to my uncle, Thaddeus, who helped me through times when I was young. He showed me. That can be value as a leader that you hold, right? And so I love this ideal, and I think that sometimes in capitalism, this ideal gets lost, but in humanity, this is the ultimate ideal we strive to hold, right? Is we strive to hold value and substance for our lives, especially as leaders. Fourth quote, only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile. And I've talked about this before on the pod. Servant leadership is the best style of leadership. Malcolm Gladwell kind of coined the term, and but this is a Judeo-Christian concept. The ideal that the leader is the one who serves, is the one who shows up for other people, is the one who takes whatever they have, whatever gifts, whatever talent, and they just pour them out for other people, is the leader that we learn about, or the leaders that we honor, that we respect, are the leaders that we desire to be. We don't want to be leaders who take. We want to be leaders who give, because that is the ultimate value that leadership holds in the world. And that's why we believe that if you're an excellent leader, the world's an excellent place, because we believe it's your outpouring of excellence that serves the world. And so I think Albert Einstein did a great job capturing this. When you die knowing that you served with all you have, the term I always use is die empty. When you die empty, we get a glimpse of what a good life is. Okay. And the last quote, right? And this is, like I said, he got some crazy quotes. This is one of my favorite ones. Any man who can drive safely while kissing a pretty girl is simply not giving the kiss the attention it deserves. And I love this quote. I love this quote because it can be taken a myriad of ways. One of them is focus, right? A lot of times we brag about how many things we can do at once. We brag about how many things we can juggle and how many things we can hold fast to simultaneously. But what Einstein is saying is, if you're doing both, you're probably not enjoying one. And I love that concept. For anyone who's married or has a significant other, like, if you kiss your girl, but you look at your phone, she knows, she gets it. Like, if you watch the TV and but when you're trying to have a conversation and they can sense that you are split, that you're not giving this conversation or this moment the attention it deserves. And I think what happens is we end up with a lot of mediocre moments, and we miss having any great ones, and we miss having any memorable ones. We have all these mundane things that happen because we're holding fast and we're trying to do two things. And what happens is, because we're doing two things, we don't ever get to truly enjoy the depth and the beauty of either, right? For my people who love to drive, I'm not one of these people. I drive all the time, but I don't love driving, right? It's not like, it's not a stress relief. But for people who driving is how they relieve stress, they get in their car, they go on a drive, and they feel better when they come back home. One of the things they'll tell you is, when people think driving is a stress relief, they drive alone. And the reason they drive alone is because they want to engage and enjoy the driving experience. And so a person who loves driving will tell you, not only can you not enjoy driving if someone's in the car, you surely can enjoy it if you're kissing while you're doing it, right? And so the ideal that in separation, both things should be truly enjoyed and valued, but when you put together, they both lose kind of the value they hold, is a great reminder for leaders, focus. And I'm not saying you have to be in a box, but I'm saying when you're doing something, focus on that. and give it your attention so that you're able to enjoy it fully, because it does have something to give you. It does have something of value for you. That's why you're doing it in the first place. Don't minimize that value by trying to do something else while you're doing it. Okay? And so those are the 5 quotables from Einstein. I'm going to say them again just so you can write them down in case you missed them. And I hope this was a fun episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I might do some more episodes like this, like Dr. King or some of the other people around in history who are super quotable. I might, bring some those quotes onto the ladder every now and then and just talk about them and delve into them as leaders. Okay? So the first quote: learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. The important thing is not to stop questioning. It's number 2. A person who never made a mistake never tried anything new. Number 3, strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value. Number 4, only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile. And number 5, any man who can drive safely while kissing a pretty girl is simply not giving the kiss the attention it deserves. Shout out to Albert Einstein and all his quotables for our leaders today. Shout out to you for hanging out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with somebody who might not know some of these dope quotes. And until next time, it's been an honor and privilege hanging out with you today. This is going to be a dope year. Don't miss none of these. Tune in, turn your noties on, and I'll see you next time. It's your boy, Justin Strickland, and I'm out, man. Peace.